9/11. The Soviet-Afghan War was a 10-year conflict started on December 1979, with the Communist Soviet Union attempting to assist with the Afghan Communist government, the People's Democratic Party. The pro-communist government was at war with anti-communist Muslims, the Ba'ath Party, which was mostly of the Muslim religion, that was against the Western influence of communism. In the eyes of the not yet formed Al-Qaeda, these Western disturbers were a big burden for the Muslim community. This would begin to lead on to more extreme events of Muslim Brotherhood, the Soviet army arriving back in Russia from fighting hard in Afghanistan. The infamous Black Hawk Down mission, which resulted in a well-known spin-off by Hollywood, was the scene of a disastrous American mission. The US were leading a UN mission to end the civil war and famine in Somalia. On October 1993, they attempted to capture powerful Somali warlord Gen Mohammed Farah Aidid. However, they were met by fierce resistance from the warlord's military. 2 Black Hawk helicopters were shot down. 18 Americans and 2 UN troopers died. But that wasn't the worst part. It's believed that around 300 Somalis were killed in the operation, some innocent. This destroyed the image of US in the eyes of Muslim extremists, who are already against Western influence. Has been called one of the big incentives for 9/11. September 11, 2001, one of the most memorable events in history. American Airlines Boeing 767, carrying 20,000 gallons of jet fuel, ripped a massive gaping hole around floor 80 in the North Tower of New York City's World Trade Center. Thousands were killed instantly, with hundreds trapped on floors above. Onlookers and media assumed a freak accident, right up until a second plane collided with the southern tower. Meanwhile, at 9:45 in Washington, D.C., another hijacked American Airlines plane obliterated the west side of the Pentagon military headquarters. 125 military personnel, along with the 64 aboard the Boeing 757, were killed. The Pentagon, Washington, D.C., with part of the building obliterated and smoldering. America was under attack. A 4th plane, flying from New Jersey destined for California, was hijacked. Some of the people on the plane attempted to prevent the inevitable, already aware of the other horrors that had taken place that morning. The passengers desperately tried to prevent the hijackers, even resorting to using a fire extinguisher. With no one in control of the plane, the airliner rolled and plummeted to the ground. All 44 people were killed, but they were deemed heroes, as the plane was probably bound for either Washington, D.C., the White House, or possibly a nuclear power station on the east coast of the States. Here you can see the flight path of the 2 planes heading for 9/11, both leaving from Boston Airport. You can also see Flight 93 that was heading back from taking off in New Jersey and heading to either Washington, D.C., the White House, or a nuclear power station. The world was coming to grips with what had happened. Deaths were unprecedented on a terrorist level. Nearly 3,000 people died, with 2,750 perishing in New York alone. 400 police officers and firefighters were killed in the event. Once again, never seen on such a scale. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbour them. Words of President Bush after hearing about the attacks while visiting a second-grade classroom in Sarasota, Florida. When he visited the site of the collapsed Twin Towers, he made one of the most famous remarks of his presidency. "I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knock these buildings down will hear from all of us soon," bringing his approval rating to an outstanding and incredible 90% in polls later, the highest of any American president. Citizens and workers flee the dusty graveyard of Manhattan. America were deemed to strike back, and so they did. Bush did not back down on his word. The war on terror, an ongoing international American-led battle that shaped his presidency, against the rising prowess of terrorism. 480 to 507,000 people have lost their lives, including about 260,000 innocent civilians. Terrorists and military personnel also made up half the million figure, Although not precise, it is believed around 7,000 US troops have been killed, over twice that of the death toll of 9/11. The War on Terror was meant to unite the Western world. However, if anything, it has divided it. Politically, and obviously for all the other reasons, it has been a disaster, and we will feel the ramifications for a very long time.